Good evening, friends. Today, we have a mix of news on different topics. Our main focus will be on Samir Wankade, NCB zonal head, and his team for their brilliant work in cleaning up the drug scene in Mumbai and other places. We'll start with some inspiring news for young women, CRPFs. First woman Cobras will train to take on Maoists. Breaking the glass ceiling, the Central Reserve Police Force, CRPF, has selected its first batch of women commandos to be inducted into its elite Cobra unit to take on the Maoists. A total of 34 women personnel from CRPF's all 6 Mahila battalions have been selected. These commandos will undergo a strenuous commando battalions for resolute action, pre-induction training of 3 months. A CRPF official said that the exercise will reinforce their physical capabilities and tactical acumen by imparting next-level training in firing and special weapons planning, fieldcraft, explosives, and jungle survival skills. After successful completion of their training, the batch of these Mahila warriors will be posted in LWE areas alongside their male counterparts, the official said. The Ministry of Home Affairs had accorded approval for setting up of a sanction of 10 unattached battalions of Cobra for guerrilla and jungle warfare type operations for dealing with extremists and insurgents. He remarked that while this gender neutrality adds to the diversity of the force, empowered women make an empowered family, which eventually empowers the nation. This is a piece of news that makes women proud, and especially Indian women who are in the forefront in almost all careers. Meanwhile, CBI has a new interim chief. 1988 batch Gujarat cadre IPS officer Praveen Sinha, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The appointment committee of the cabinet approved Sinha's elevation to the top job until the CBI gets a permanent director. A high-powered committee of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India clears the appointment of a CBI director. The committee is believed to have met last in January 2019. Praveen Sinha, a 1988 batch Gujarat cadre IPS officer, has been appointed as the acting chief of CBI, sources have said. The tenure of current CBI director Rishi Kumar Shukla ended on February 3rd. Praveen Sinha, the CBI additional director, will hold the position of acting director till the time the high power committee appoints the next chief of the top investigating agency. The top contenders for the post are Subodh Kumar Jaiswal, Rakesh Asthana, YC Modi, HC Awasthi, and SS Deswal. Subodh Jaiswal is a 1985 batch officer currently posted as DG CISF, whereas Rakesh Asthana is a 1984 batch officer currently posted as DG BSF. YC Modi, a 1984 batch IPS officer, is currently posted as the NIA chief. And SS Deswal, a 1985 batch IPS officer, is the DG of ITBP. And HC Awasthi, a 1985 batch officer and DG UP Police, is also a top contender in the race for the next CBI chief. Viewers, the details, the reason I'm giving you all these details is that to inform you that the Prime Minister is taking personal interest in who is going to head the CBI, which is very important for us, especially as cases like Sushant Singh's loom high. In the SSR-linked case, NCB continues to be strong. They arrested celebrity manager Rahila Furniturewala, who was actress Dia Mirza's manager, and businessman Karan Sajnani this Friday. That was yesterday. The two were taken into custody on Thursday. Sources said that Sajnani and Furniturewala have connections with some of the accused arrested in the SSR drug case. So they have been placed under arrest. The NCB officials have not revealed exact details on the role of Sajnani and Furniturewala in the case. Last month, the NCB had launched a manhunt to nab a person named Ali, who runs a factory in Uttar Pradesh's Rampur in connection with the bursting of 200 kilos of imported marijuana buds after the arrest of Sajnani and Furniture Wala. Sajnani and Furniture Wala's arrests also led to the arrest of Samir Khan, who is the son-in-law of NCP leader and Maharashtra Minister Nawab Malik. The NCB officials from Lucknow zonal unit had also raided the premises of a factory in Rampur last month. The factory was run by the suspect, Ali, who is absconding, likely manufacturing some herbal mixes that were said to be mixed with imported marijuana buds sourced by drug kingpin Sajnani. Ali was reportedly in touch with Sajnani and had been manufacturing such herbal mixes with marijuana buds. Such herbal mixes were reportedly being sold in the market and to clients across the country. Sources from the NCB said that this contraband, which was being smuggled from Seattle in the US by Sajnani, was misdeclared in the courier to mislead the customs and other agencies in the country. Sajnani had reportedly misdeclared the buds as herbal leaves or some other product to smuggle it inside India. Sajnani, once he received the buds, would grind it and then fill it inside rolled cones or joints. These joints were then packed in small packets which were printed in the US, and each pack contained 5 joints. NCB sources said that they have found digital evidence, call records, voice notes against Khan in the case. Khan and Sajnani wanted to expand their business and had been involved in the drug supply chain since the past 15 months. The NCB official also found that Khan invested the money in the business by depositing it into the bank accounts of accused Furniture Wala. The money was then transferred to Sajnani by Furniture Wala. Furniture Wala was the link between Sajnani and Khan. The NCB had earlier scanned bank accounts of Sajnani, Furniture Wala, and Khan. The NCB, probing the Sushant Singh Rajput death case related to the drug probe, arrested one more person who was a part of the drug syndicate and supplied drugs to the late actor. He is the 31st arrest made by the agency in the case. So you can imagine the kind of work that NCB is doing under Samir Wankhede. Jagtap Singh Anand was placed under arrest by NCB on Thursday in connection with financing drug trafficking operations and conspiracy to peddle drugs in the SSR drug case. Jagtap is the 31st arrest made by the agency in this case. He is the elder brother of Karnajit Singh Anand, alias KJ, who was in September arrested in the same case. Karnajit Singh Anand allegedly supplied drugs to Sushant Singh Rajput through other arrested accused persons. When we say that supplied drugs to Sushant Singh Rajput, of course it would have been through Rhea and the other people, because we have seen the verified chats on based on this. After Karanjit's arrest, NCB officials had found that he was accepting money for drugs in Jagtap's accounts. He had also transferred money earned out of trafficking drugs into Jagtap's account. Karanjit was arrested, and the agency also seized his Mercedes 4MATIC SUV, which was reportedly being used for the transportation of drugs. According to sources, Jagtap is suspected to be involved into drug peddling and has a bigger clientele supplying drugs in Mumbai and also a few other cities. Jagtap Singh Anand, according to NCB officials, was summoned to the NCB office on Wednesday, after which he was questioned regarding the transactions and alleged financing of drug trafficking through his brother Karanjit. After questioning Jagtap for hours, he was placed under arrest on charges of financing, drug trafficking, and conspiracy to peddle drugs. On Tuesday, NCB arrested Rishikesh Pawar, which we had already mentioned earlier, the ex-assistant director of Sushant Singh Rajput, in connection with the drug probe. Pawar has been remanded to NCB custody till Friday. In another news also related to NCB, on Thursday, NCB team led by zonal head Samir Wankhede also decided to nabbed a slum lord supplying codeine syrup to street children in Mumbai. The NCB decided to go after Babu Patri, after receiving information that his drug module was supplying codeine-based cough syrup to street children across central, east, and south Mumbai, which means they don't even leave the street children alone. They are making drug addicts of them as well. The NCB on Friday arrested a slum lord from Kurla for running a poly-drug supply racket with at least 22 peddlers working under him in Mumbai. Over the past few months, the NCB has initiated a crackdown on Mumbai's drug trade. Zakir Hussain Abdul Rahman Sheikh, alias Bablu Patri, the slum lord from Kurla, is the latest in the series of NCB arrested by NCB sleuths. Patri was taken into custody following a 6-hour operation, starting with a raid at his residence in the wee hours of Friday. One of Patri's associates, Sahab Mullah, has also been placed under arrest by the NCB. The operation resulting in Bablu Patri's arrest was coordinated by NCB Zonal Director Samir Wankare. According to the officials, the NCB decided to go after Patri after receiving information that his drug module was supplying codeine-based cough syrup to minor street children across central, east, and south Mumbai. Officials said they seized nearly 20 kilograms of codeine-based bottled cough syrup, 450 grams of marijuana, and 56 grams of mephedrone from Patri's residence in Bail Bazaar, locality in Mumbai's Kurla. The residence was located very close to the railway station and guarded by local goons working under Patri. In order to take Patri into custody from the thickly populated slum without alerting him, the NCB decided to send small teams of officers at a time to avoid suspicion. Once they were in a position, NCB officer Samir Wankare knocked on Patri's door. Caught unaware, Bablu Patri even claimed he was a police informer. However, an initial search of his residence led to the discovery of bottles of codeine-based cough syrup, leading to his arrest. Prior to this, Zakir Hussain Abdul Rahman Sheikh, alias Bablu Patri, has been arrested in connection with cases of assault and drug peddling. He even served 1 year in jail. Officials said Patri's modus operandi involved using the multiple layers of peddlers for the sale of drugs. He had around 22 peddlers working for him who would not carry more than 1 gram of MD at a time. This way, even if they were caught, they would not remain behind bars for more than a few days, said a senior NCB officer. The officer added, codeine-based cough syrups are scheduled under the NDPS Act and are not available unless a proper prescription is issued by a doctor. Abuse of codeine-based cough syrups among street children has been rampant, and Patri was supplying these syrups to children and other slum dwellers. Addiction to these syrups affects the brain, the kidneys, liver, and pancreas. It can also lead to seizures and death. How Zakir Hussain Abdul Rahman Sheikh became Babul Patri is interesting. The name he went by was given to him when he was a bootlegger, selling marijuana and spurious liquor along the railway tracks near Kurla's Bail Bazaar. In order to grow his trade, he started dealing in codeine-based cough syrups. He managed to buy multiple homes, houses, and shops in the locality that have been rented out. During interrogation on Friday, Bablu Patri even boasted of his connection with some local political leaders. This is where the problem is, friends. It is this connection that makes it so difficult for people to get the truth out. The batch labels on the codeine-based cough syrups recovered from Patri's house were found missing. NCB sleuths suspect that it may have been illegally manufactured in Himachal Pradesh. Bablu Patri is now being questioned over the source of his codeine supply. Viewers, once again, I would repeat that we need to salute the efforts of zonal head Samir Wankare and his team for this tenacious manner in which they are cleaning up the drug scene. We need to express it through social media. So I would request you to do it on your behalf. Meanwhile, in the midst of all this hard work, there is one woman who is enjoying her time, and you can guess who this woman is. The woman was in the eye of the storm just till recently, till her lawyer and his PR team started whitewashing her image. Rhea Chakraborty and her brother Shovik were spotted outside the gym that she used to frequent earlier in Mumbai. She is back to her old ways. She was arrested in connection to a drug probe, as you remember, in Sushant Singh's death case, and was granted bail after a month. The brother and sister were arrested on a drugs-related charge in the case and spent nearly a month in Baikula jail before being released on bail. If justice is to be meted out, all the criminals involved in Sushant's murder should soon be in custody, and we pray that happens soon. Meanwhile, in the farmers' agitation drama, looks like Meena Harris, niece of Kamala Harris, Vice President of the USA, is bent on interfering in India's affairs. Like the dumb celebrities Rihanna, Malala, Mia Khalifa, and Greta, this woman also is spreading lies faster than our own homegrown Rajdeep Sardesai. It has been proved that these women had no idea of what's happening in India, and they are being paid heavily to write things, tweet things against India. While Meena Harris and her like support the violent insurrection in India and continue to fan unrest, Harris has been extremely distressed about Indians taking to the street to protest against her interference democratically by burning her photographs. Meena Harris has been supporting a violent insurrection in India where Khalistanis attacked and injured over 400 policemen and used swords, knives, and stones to capture the Red Fort and raise a Sikh flag in an effort to express support for the Khalistanis. Furthermore, Meena Harris resorted to spreading fake news as she claimed that one 23-year-old labor rights activist, Nodeep Kaur, was arrested, tortured, and sexually harassed in police custody. This seems to be another ploy to tarnish the reputation of India. Interestingly, when the insurrection happened in Capitol Hill, Meena Harris and her aunt Kamala Harris were vociferously in support of jailing those who participated in the insurrection and aided the violence even remotely. However, when it comes to India, she feels that she should be in a position to disregard what the police says, undermine the judiciary, and make light of grave allegations against Nodeep Kaur, like that of extortion and attempt to murder. Meena Harris did not stop there. Continuing her propaganda, Kamala Harris' crony also passed off false information saying Indian media had glorified protests against her by writing headlines such as "Brave Indian men burn pictures of women who support farmers," which according to them was normal. This sums up today's news, friends. Thank you for joining me, and thank you, Ushma, Rochelle, so many of you. Thank you so much for joining me, and please continue, Seema. Thank you and please continue posting your valuable comments and suggestions. It's very important for me, and normally I post these also on my Twitter account. Thank you, Renu, Amrita, Sheldon, Rupa, Kanta. Thank you so much. Please join me for another section coming. Thank you.